Well, 15 years have passed since nearly 3,000 lives were lost in the largest terrorist attack on U.S. soil. Today, its survivors, along with family and friends of victims, relive a struggle that has never left them. The sites of the attacks, the message for struggling Americans everywhere was clear, as exemplified by President Barack Obama, who said, "We are forever united." VOA's Ramon Taylor reports from New York.
As the fog cleared from New York's Freedom Tower, Americans paid solemn tribute to the fallen at Ground Zero, the site of the attacks on the Twin Towers.
Evan J. Barron.
One by one, relatives and loved ones of 9/11 victims recited their names. From New York City to a field outside Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon, Americans bowed their heads to remember each of the 4 moments of impact. President Obama laid a wreath at the Pentagon and delivered a message of unity.
It is so important today that we reaffirm our character as a nation. People drawn from every corner of the world, every color, every religion, every background, bound by a creed as old as our founding, E pluribus unum. Out of many, we are one.
St. Paul's Chapel in New York is known as the Little Chapel That Stood, just steps from Ground Zero. In the weeks following the attacks, it served as a place of rest and refuge for relief workers. Reverend Dr. William Lupfer says the community lives with the loss every day and continues to pray for reconciliation.
We're not here today, gone tomorrow, and we want everyone to be, to continue to grieve and to remember. Sometimes remembering and grieving means laughing and embracing life even more fully.
For many of the survivors, not a day passes without remembering the horrors they faced and the health repercussions that followed.
NYPD, family, friends, he was always the one to run to help. So I remember my dad as the person who always was there to help everybody.
William Rodriguez was working as a janitor at the World Trade Center when the towers were attacked. Using a master key, he ran to open as many doors as he could before exiting and becoming buried alive.
So they started looking under the rubble, and once I got pulled from under the rubble, hours after, I was in shock. Why? Because I couldn't find any of those buildings.
Today, Rodriguez advocates for survivors, but fears that many who continue to struggle have been left behind.
Everybody was together. The liaison was very strong. The ties with the victims were constant. Then people got tired. People said, okay, it's time to move on, while the victims were still suffering.
Rodriguez hopes that the survivors, like every victim of 9/11, will never be forgotten. Ramon Taylor, VOA News, New York.